Hello, my loves, and welcome to the Car Love Talk Show after hours. Before we dive in, make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit that little bell so you'll be notified every time I post a video here on the Car Love Network. Did y'all see the new art? I should do all the things so that we can go look at the artwork, but we're not doing that today. There's new art. The artwork now says Carter Love Network. It lists our main shows that come on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And sorry, let me pull it up because I might be saying some wrong stuff. The bio is new. Yes, so it says new videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Subscribe. Carter Love Network. It still says talk show, affirmations, poetry, and real conversations because that's what we do here at the Carter Love Network. The bio is updated as well. I'm going to be reorganizing. So all of these after hour episodes are now going to have a title as well as an episode number as well as a specific I might play with the thumbnails. I'm not gonna get carried away because I gotta go back. I think 9 or 10 episodes and go back. I get to go back and watch the video and figure out the best title to put on there, update the description so you guys can follow everyone who was on and all the things. So I'm excited for that. Today I am by myself and I'm okay with that. We're still gonna do, the highs and lows. I'm gonna update you guys on my life. I'm gonna do some of those Q&As. Yeah, I know I love my Harry Potter cup. And then and then we're gonna, wrap it up so I can finish my homework so I can enjoy my weekend. So that's what we're doing today. I'm gonna go back in over here because I had to switch my screen. Yes, I'm so excited. Also, the links are updated. So the links, because I share my oils a lot in the shorts, the YouTube shorts, the first link you'll see is for the Shea Shea butter. My little oils or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, so that link is there. My poetry book, that link is at the top. The Instagram, that's specifically for all the podcasts, that's on there. So if there was it's a little bit easier to find who you're looking for as far as people who've been on the show before. You can find them easier on Instagram because they're all tagged and you can see their photos and everything. So there's that. So the links are updated as well. Check it all out. I will be updating the descriptions shortly. So it'll be a little bit easier for you guys to access. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, so let's dive into these highs and lows for the week. Highs and lows. Listen, baby, I've been recovering. It's been taking me a little bit longer to recover from time outside of the house because I haven't spent this year. I've just been at home, networking and saving money and stuff like that. So it's been taking me now when I do leave the house and go outside and do things, it takes me a little bit longer to recover. So I Monday was a lazy day. I got home, I think I got home at 3 a.m. Got some rest and helped the kids with their schoolwork. I think I went back to sleep. Then Tuesday they had the day off. So Tuesday, I believe I slept in. One of them days I went on a long walk. I can't remember which one. My phone knows which one. I don't. So what happened? Tuesday, I got some work done. But again, I still feel like I was recovering. I'm learning to recover as I go, but it was just kind of challenging to do that this last weekend because I just realized I'm using the wrong. But anyways, it was kind of challenging to do that this weekend because I don't remember why. I think I didn't bring the right stuff. Usually like I'll bring coconut water and I'll bring um my big jug of water that is in the kitchen right now that I need. I'll bring stuff and snacks and stuff like that so that I can pour back into myself as I'm out there in the world. I didn't do that. I didn't do that this last weekend. So it is what it is. Um it's mainly recovering from human interaction, from being around other people's energies because I'm an empath, and then I'm also like super like so of course I'm super sensitive, and I'm like, I'll be trying to process stuff. So after I hang out with people, my mind tries to like process and take the lesson and move on. And sometimes I need to do that by myself, but my mind is already trying to do it. And so it's like a lot of energy that it takes for me to live. Anyways, if you are watching now or if you're watching the replay, go ahead and put your highs and lows in the comments. So it's not really a low, but that was my low. Like that it me a while to really get into the week, which is partially why I'm here by myself right now because I didn't have like I had my to-do list, I was getting my to-do list done, but baby, communicating with others this week was challenging. It just was challenging. So it is what it is. So as for a high, I feel like I reached like a new mindset shift, and I love it, and we can dive more into that now that the highs and lows are out of the way. Share yours in the comments and we can dive into the rest. So last weekend, oh, my chairs, I don't like to lean back. There it goes. Last weekend, I celebrated my birthday. My birthday isn't until the 18th. But I celebrated it last weekend. And so for those of you who have followed along or those of you who have been to my birthday party, you know what I do. I I share my yearly ritual with you guys. So basically whoever attends the party, we write a release letter. We were making vision boards, but this year we made an action plan instead. I wanted to do action boards, but we were at a wine lounge. So who was bringing out glue sticks and magazines? Nobody. So we did an action plan instead and wrote release letters, and then we celebrated. So it was really nice. I released a lot of different things, a lot of people and mindsets, mainly the codependency mindset because it was causing self sabotage, it was causing self doubt. So I released that mindset, and then with our action steps, we went a step further and we wrote ways to make sure that whatever we release, we're not picking back up, right? So we did that, and that was awesome. Then I got to chill with some really chill people, and that was cool. Um, and so it was really good, but also it was healing. And then it was like, so usually we do this at like the first time we did it at my house. So it was chill. Like the second time we did it at a studio in Auburn, but is this the third time? Yeah, this is the third time. Okay. But I went to a friend's afterwards. So it was still like more like chill vibes. Whereas this, I didn't get to go home and relax and unwind and process what I was releasing and like let it wash over me. And so it was a little bit different. It was a little bit different, but it was still really good. And so I took it a step further when I finally did get home and I got the chance to relax and rest and all the things. And so I realized that I am finally, like, you guys, I felt like a while back, I felt myself leave the survival mode. So I had exited survival mode, but I was still like hanging out by the gate. Like, I've been here my whole life. So like, where do I go? Where do I go from here? Like, what happens? What if I do this and this happens? What if I do that? That happens. That was that self-sabotage was there, that second guessing was there. All of that was in the way. Okay. But like as leading up to my actual birthday, which is next Tuesday, leading up to it, I've just had so many releases, so many breakthroughs, and so many mindset shifts. And so I've been firmer. I've found a firmer foundation in Deshay, right? In who I am, in my self belief, in my self confidence, in my self love. And so it's allowed me to venture further away from the gates of survival mode. Because, baby, like I said, I had healed enough to cross the gate. So I'm outside of the gate, but baby, I'm hanging out by it. Okay. Me and that gate is friends. It's like I'm talking to people on the other side of it. Um, and I was like, how do I get away? Like, how do I get away from this gate? And I kept kind of wondering that because I'm like, girl, you got the skills. And what I learned is I was still trying to like find things to heal, right? Still trying to do that instead of living in the healing that I've already completed, instead of embracing that healing, instead of walking in that healing, instead of trusting that healing. And I feel like after this last weekend, after reflecting, after building this week, I feel like I'm finally far enough away and I'm ready to thrive. And so much positive things have happened just from that realization. And I'm grateful that it did happen in bite-sized pieces because I feel like I would have been extremely overwhelmed if it happened all at once. But it did. It happened in bite-sized pieces. The transformation has been like trickling in since last month. Again, I usually have a lot of these little breakthroughs before my actual birthday. And I love it because it always sets me up for my birthday because year 31, which is the year I'm currently in, was my year of being unleashed and elevated, right? So Unleashed and Elevated was all about like stripping away all the things, right? Because I've spent so many years shrinking and hiding and burying parts of myself, right? So this year was all about pulling back those layers and getting to the core of who Deshay is, right? Looking at who I am, looking at my skill set, looking at my talents, looking at my desires, looking at all of that, right? Year 32, which is the year we're going into, is all about total acceptance. So accepting me for who I am and nurturing and loving and expanding on all of those parts of me that I got to know this year. So it's just, I love the transformation. I love moving through this season and getting to my season of expansion and thriving. I'm looking forward to thriving. I'm looking forward to living a life that is fulfilling to me, living a pleasurable life, living a quality life. And I'm not saying that I haven't lived that, but baby, I've been surviving. And I'm telling you 100%, I've been surviving, like surviving. Scarcity mindset, surviving, like, and I am so grateful for the shift because I just feel lighter. Like mentally I feel lighter, but I also feel very grounded in who I am. And my survival mode mind was like, okay, you've done all this healing, but what happens when you go in the world and someone does this, and is it going to shake you, and I don't want you to lose who you are, and so fearful because I haven't had me in so long, right? I haven't had me probably since I was a child. And so she was like, girl, what are we doing? Why would you go outside? Who's doing that? Like, that's crazy. Stay your ass in the house. But the extroverted in me, the part of me that is like the part of me that is obsessed and in love with me is like, somebody gotta witness this person right here. Okay. Someone has to be a part of this. Someone has to enjoy this version of me, this me with me. Someone has to add to it and enhance it, right? And so here we are in a thriving mode, and I love it. I love it. I'm excited. I'm super excited. I'm gonna sorry, I looked at my notes and then threw me off. Because this is more like the kind of stuff I talk about on Beautifully Imbalanced. So if anyone wants to dive into that, if anyone wants to dive in, like a how to exit survival mode, or what was your exiting or what was the ups and downs around it, or what boundaries did you start to set, like any of that, we can dive into that on Beautifully Imbalanced. Beautifully Imbalanced is the podcast that happens on Wednesdays. Sorry, it's new. It just came back in November. So every Wednesday by 7 p.m. there will be a video for Beautifully Imbalanced, and Beautifully Imbalanced dives deeper into my healing process, into my trauma, I call it my history, but it's still fairly new, so I'm reminding you that that's what I call my trauma, because it's all history. So that's what I do on Beautifully Imbalanced. I dive into those things. So my history, healthy coping skills, boundaries, grieving, all of those kinds of things. Those are the things that I dive into on Beautifully Imbalanced, so we can expand. I love that word. We can expand on exiting survival mode on there. If you have any questions there, if you want to just put them in the comments, you can put them in the comments. If you want to message me directly, you can message me directly. But we really expand on those kinds of things there. I get very raw, very vulnerable, and share. I don't say share all the details, because I don't share all the details, because some stuff got to be private. But I do go in deeper detail of things, like how I got in survival mode, right? Like, and how long I've been living in survival mode, and when did I know that I actually exited survival mode? You know what I mean? When did I know I was just chilling on the outside of the gate? Because maybe these last few months, that's where I've been, outside of the gate. Like, I'm out of survival mode and I'm just chilling by the gate. Like, I'm supposed to go further that way, So I'm grateful for the healing, grateful for the growth. And I'm ready to dive into some of these Q&As. Oopsie. That was my charger. I unplugged my laptop by accident. It was the accident, y'all. I didn't do it on purpose. But anyways, Ray is Ray is in the building. It's like your YouTube name throws me off every time. He says, "Hey, I'm excited to so next Monday, the day before my birthday, I am going to be interviewed by Ja on the Monday night show, which is just the original Carter Love talk show. I'm excited. I don't know any of the questions he's going to ask. I don't know. I don't know anything. I'm gonna just show up and see what happens. You know what I'm saying? And it'll be a cool day, because it's the day before it's the day before my birthday. So that's why we scheduled it that way. It's the day before my birthday, and then we're gonna close out Monday with my other friend Ray. And I think I answered this question already. But we're gonna close out with my other friend Ray. And I think it's the day before his birthday and the day after, or the day of Ja's birthday. There's a lot of November birthdays, and I love it. Okay, there's a lot of November babies. Thank you. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, hold on. I got the wrong mouse. I was trying to use this one to put it on the screen. Thank you very much, darling. Okay, so I got one question. I need to stop throwing these. I'm gonna try to pull 2 or 3 more, so I don't have to keep unrolling these things. Bum bum bum. This is a long one. Nope. That's on branding. So I am considering bringing back Brand Boost Tuesdays. Brand Boost Tuesdays was something that I used to do on you. I mean, I feel like I've done it on YouTube as well, but I mainly used to do it on Instagram. I used to do it on Instagram. I would just talk about, like, I would do like 5 ways to like boost your brand. Like maybe you did a photo shoot, 5 ways to utilize those photos. Like just little stuff like that. Marketing. If holiday season was coming up, I would give tips on holiday season, how to be successful in holiday season. Different things like that. I would take questions from different members who had questions about, like, needing help with their business and stuff like that. So um those are some of the things that I do on there. I'm also considering bringing back the glow lives. Hold on. My gosh. The glow lives, I mainly just focus on ingredients. Like the ingredients that are good for, these are all about trauma. Like, I found one that's not about trauma, but all these questions have been about like trauma or PCOS. What was I gonna say? I forgot what I was saying, you guys. I'm not getting old. I'm just very tired. I am. I went on a long walk before this live because I had the opportunity to. So I said, might as well. Why the fuck not? So I took a long walk and I feel good, but I'm also very tired. Okay, it is what it is. I found one question. The rest of them are all about trauma and PCOS. And I feel like we already touched on that a little bit. This one's not bad. Okay, so the first question I pulled. So for those of you who don't know, in this little mug, I collected like frequently asked questions that like I get personally, or I get during, like, I've gotten in past lives, or like just whatever, right? So I've written them out and put them all in here. But these were from, like, even when, like I said, when I was doing those lives on business and products and all the things. So there's a lot of variety of questions in here. So I just pulled from these. It's like a cool way to answer questions that people have asked me without demanding so much from the comment section. So the first question I found was, how do you date yourself? Which I really feel like I've answered that already on here, but we're going to dive into it anyways, because I have decided what I've learned. It's kind of goes hand in hand with exiting survival mode. What I've learned is that part of healing is trusting your healing, right? So now that I've healed, it's time for me to go out in the world and be healed. And it's going to solidify the trust that I have in myself, the trust that I have in my intuition and my discernment. So now it's time to go out and be myself in the world, because like I said before, I had a history of people pleasing. I had a history of shrinking in order to fit who a person wanted me to be, in order to be acceptable or tolerable or to feel wanted by them. When we all know, when you do that, you're not genuinely wanted. You're wanted for a fraction of who you are, because you've like hidden pieces of yourself just so this person can see you and hold you. And so my goal is to go on a monthly date. And it has to be around other people. I will do some self dates where it's just me, like where I'm just like gonna go take a picnic and draw, or where I go to the movies by myself, or I'll take myself out to eat or whatever. But outside of that, it would be like going to a dance class, going to a mixer, whether that's a business mixer or just like they have like these little meetups where like you meet with like-minded people. So like maybe it's like a book or a garden, or book meetup or a garden meetup, or Black women meetup, or small business meetup. Like there's a lot of different meetups out here, excuse me, that I'm going to start going to. So like again, it's about being yourself in the world. Because we know I can be myself right here on online. We know I can be myself in these four walls at home. But what happens when someone challenges me, challenges who I am, or triggers me? Or what happens when someone is intimidated by my personality, right? Can I still remain Deshay? Or will I make myself palatable for that person, right? It's about practicing my healing, walking in my healing, not practicing it, sorry, walking in my healing and not performing, right? So that's how I see self dating is like really one, embracing your healing, accepting your healing, but also loving on you, doing things that you like. I like to cook. I want to take a cooking class. I want to take a baking class. I want to do things that I would do with a partner. Take a pottery class, take an art class, take a dance class, like, different things like that that are going to also challenge me to some degree, right? So then now I'm getting to know a different part of myself. Just like if I took dance lessons with a partner, we would get to see who's the fast learner, who has two left feet, who's, you know what I mean? Like all of the things, right? So you get to know your partner on a different level. Also, it's like a kind of intimate thing, right? Same thing with if I spend that time doing those things with myself. So that's how I see self dating. I feel like it shouldn't be just self-care, even though self-care is extremely important. It should be you challenging yourself, you getting to know yourself on another level, like in different environments. How do you show up when you're playing baseball? Like if you're what do they call when you go to the batting cages? How do you show up? Like, you know what I mean? Who are you? Are you super competitive? Are you secretly competing with the person who's next to you? Like, those are things you get to know about yourself, you know what I mean? And so that's one of the things I'm super excited about. That's one of my goals for my new year is to date myself. um like, I don't say privately, but like those moments where I'm like just by myself, where I'm like, like I said, doing art, like having a picnic by myself or whatever, going on a hike, whatever. But also those ones where I'm in the world, like by myself though, you know. There's other people around me and I might meet other people, and of course I want to talk to other people because I'm Deshay, like that's who I am. But I'm also like being, me, by myself out there in the world around other people, all the things, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. This one is, how do you handle negative self-talk and what affirmations have worked for you? Um, Negative self-talk for me shows up as shame. Like, it used to be like a, that's what you get, you deserve that hurt or whatever. I need to move these so I make sure I don't ask them again. But it used to show up in that way. Now, if it does show up, because it rarely does, if it does show up, it shows up as shame. I'm trying to think of, there was a time where I realized I was being gaslit, right? And I was like, damn girl, like you you let this shit happen again? Like, that was the negative self. Like, damn, like you ain't learned. You ain't learned from the first time, like the first couple of times. Like, like where was your mind? It came up in that way, right? And it was hard because I was a little like, because not only did I experience like the negative self-talk, but also like the realization hit me, and I was in my feelings and like all the things. And then I was like kind of like doubting like my intuition a little bit, because I'm like, girl, like you didn't think to tell me like that this stuff was going on. So it was brought on, it was like a lot of emotions at once. But what helped me was just embracing it, like letting myself feel it, and letting myself realize that I have to grow and learn, you know what I mean? And if I had been um if I had experienced this before, right? Like, for example, like I said, the gaslighting, the manipulation, right? If I experienced it before, how did it show up differently this time in a way that I missed it, right? What did I miss? I took it as a way of reflecting on the situation so that I can grow, right? What did I miss? And why did I miss it? Was I putting someone else's feelings above my own to the point where I was blinded, where I couldn't even listen to my intuition because I'm not listening to her. I'm listening to what's being said in front of me, right? Um so I do a lot of reflection. What role did I play in this? And not to blame though. Like it's also like your motive for looking it up, right? So I'm not looking within to shame myself furthermore. I'm looking within to figure out how to improve. Um, and then that's when the affirmations come. Because if I know that I was blinded because I was trying to make sure that this person understood me, my affirmation is then I have the courage to be misunderstood. You know what I mean? If I feel like I was connecting with these different individual or I was manipulated because I wasn't putting myself first, right? Then my affirmation is love you first, you know? So the affirmation comes once you figure out where you fell short. And so that's why self-reflection is very important, but also it helps you to make your affirmations super specific to you. For example, when I first started using affirmations, my affirmation was I am enough, I am enough, I am enough. Um but it wasn't that I didn't think I was enough. I mean, to some degree it was, but it was more so I didn't know my worth. It was more so, are you worthy? Are you worthy of love? Are you worthy of being seen for who you are? Are you worthy of showing up in your fullness? You know what I mean? Because you did that before and didn't get you what you wanted, right? So it was more so I am worthy. And that's why that's an affirmation that I use so much because I am enough was everywhere. So I was like, maybe I don't think I'm enough. Reality is I know I'm a lot. And I mean that in a positive way, but before it was something that was so negative. I'm too much. I'm too much. I'm too much. I gotta shrink down because I'm just too much. They can't handle me. Whatever. Um, so I am enough was not fitting for me. And that's why self-reflection is so important because you know what affirmations are for you. You just have to reflect to figure it out. Just like boundaries. Once you reflect, you know what boundary needs to be set. You know what I mean? It's sometimes it's hard to put a word on it because boundaries are challenging because a lot of times we're not taught boundaries. It sucks, but we're not. So for me, once I reflect and I know what affirmation to use. Like I said, worthy is the biggest one for me. Because even once I've learned what my worth is and I'm like rocking and I'm like, yeah, whatever, like, I got my boundaries or whatever, y'all can't touch me, like, even though I'm there, right? There are times where there's stuff that I'm still healing from and I'll miss something. So that's why, again, when I close out, I tell y'all what y'all worthy of, right? I usually go based off what we talk about on the show. But for me, I am worthy of healthy connection. I'm worthy of effective communication. These are things I didn't have, right? So I wasn't aware that I was worthy of them. These are things that we should automatically get, right? It's our birthright, but we don't always receive them. And when you live in a, harsh environment, you adapt to it, so then you don't know anything different. So now that's where the affirmations come to remind you. So I'm worthy of healthy connection, I'm worthy of effective communication, I'm worthy of being seen in my fullness, right? I am worthy of being held in my fullness. I am worthy of healing and all the success that comes from healing, right? I think one of the biggest things for me was I am worthy. of a love outside of myself, but also I'm worthy of the love from a man that I desire, right? Because trauma taught me to desire this man over here that's not good for me, right? But now that I'm healing, I know that that's not what I want. I'm worthy of what I want. I'm worthy of something healthy. I'm worthy of something that I can thrive in, something we can elevate one another, right? That was an affirmation that I had to dwell on and really feed into me, especially when I was healing my daddy issues, right? Which I had that realization. It's on Beautifully Imbalanced. It's literally, I think I literally called it Daddy Issues. There's a part 1 and a part 2, but ultimately, that's for me, that's how you find your affirmation. That's how you find what works for you. You reflect. You sit with the uncomfortable feelings and you figure out where is the flip and how can you lift that up. Sorry, there's something in my eye. My goodness. Okay. I know I'm super dramatic. I think I'll do one more of these questions, unless there's a question in the comments. And then I'm gonna do my homework, you guys, because your girl just got a job. And so this is my weekend with my kids where I need to tell them about that and how things are gonna shift. And I need to make my schedule for next week and all the things. So let me see, what is this one? Oh, this one, I guess this one kind of goes in what we were just talking about. So it says, what advice do you have for someone just starting their healing journey? What they say, buckle up. I think that sometimes we think about healing and there's two things, right? There's like those people who think like it's going to be sunshines and rainbows and other things. And then there's those people who are extremely terrified so they don't do it, or they stay stagnant, or they might like get this far and then they stop and then they go backwards and then they come back, whatever. Biggest thing, healing isn't linear. We know that, right? Healing looks differently on every day, right? So today, healing looks like this. I'm talking with y'all. Usually I have a drink with y'all because that's when I drink on Fridays with y'all. But I ain't got no more liquor. So here we are. Anyways, that's healing, right? Because I'm communicating with people that I love. Usually there's like 2 or 3 other guests on here. We're having really deep conversations or we're joking around. Those are all good things for me. I'm a people person. So even though I haven't been able to get out the house, I still have this, right? Monday nights, I got the interviews. Friday nights, I have this, and I'm good because I have that human connection, right? That's healing for me. Also, I learn stuff, especially because there's males on here. And so I learn from different male, the male perspective. And then there's females that come on here who live a completely different life from me. So I learn from them. And so I'm thriving off of that, right? That's healing, right? But healing is also laying in that bed, taking a nap, giving yourself some rest, right? Healing is also like me going on a walk in the rain. I like walking in the rain. Anyways, journaling, healing looks different every day. Maybe today I want to journal and I don't want to talk to nobody. I just want to reflect on what I journaled. I want to rest. I want to relax. I want to watch my show and laugh. Like that's it. That's healing. Maybe healing one day is like boo-hooing, you know what I mean? Random cries. Like it happens, especially because once you start to chip away at stuff, there's your brain will start to be like, she's ready or he's ready. So let's throw in this like intrusive thought, this intrusive memory. Let's, put that in there. You know what I mean? Like, so then you'll start remembering stuff. That's more so for like the trauma people. Where y'all at? That's me. Anyways, but still, like your brain will start to be like, okay, well, we tucked this away because she wasn't ready for it or he wasn't ready for it. Now let's bring this back up front. You know what I mean? And it'll start reminding you of stuff that happened in the past. And that's some more stuff to heal, right? Or to evaluate, or it's a missing piece to a fact that you were wondering, right? So it's more so just I think the biggest thing is giving yourself grace. I think the biggest thing is it's what do they say? It's not a destination. It's the journey. It's not a destination. I don't feel like you arrive at healing. You know what I mean? Like right now, I feel like I said, I just got on the other side of survival mode. So now I'm ready to thrive, right? I'm ready to do what I want. I'm ready to just live a pleasurable life. And so I'm not trying to be like you guys. Control was a big thing for me. That's survival mode, that's trauma mindset. It's like you try to control things so that you are always prepared for when shit goes left, right? That's not logical, but to the trauma mind, it's logical, right? If I prepare for this, then when it happens, it won't be so bad. You know what I mean? And sometimes you be preparing for stuff that ain't ever gonna happen. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean? You're doing all of this or whatever, and you feel like you're in control. You're really not. It's a lie that you're telling yourself. But anyways, let's not dive deep into that. The point I'm making is right now I've done a lot of healing. Am I done healing? No. But now it's time for me to walk in my healing and to embrace all that I've learned about myself and to just let myself fall and get up and fall and get up. And what's been on my mind a lot, and I keep forgetting it, so don't come for me real quick. I'm going to look at, there's a photo I have of it in here, and then I'm going to put this comment. I've got my glasses on, y'all, so I be having a hard time and I'm using the wrong mouse. Let me see. Okay, so Miss Frizzle has been on my mind all week. Okay, with her take chances, make mistakes, get messy. Okay, because I'm telling you, that's something that I did not do, and I know you have to do it. Like I have kids. I worked in the Child Development Center. I know that that's part of learning and growing and thriving. I wasn't doing it. Okay, like, well, if we can do this, then we can avoid making that mistake, and then if we do this like this, you know what I mean? Like really trying to avoid making mistakes. It's inevitable. You guys, we're all going to make mistakes. It's all a part of the healing process. So I think that if you go into healing just being open and giving yourself grace, easier said than done, hell yes. But also I think that knowing what works for you that's positive, right? For me, when I need a break, when I feel like I'm overwhelmed, or when I feel like I've healed enough today, right? I can listen to music and I can dance, or I can just listen to the music. And either way it goes, I'm going to get a message, a soothing message, a loving message, or I'll have some sort of breakthrough or whatever. Something is going to ease me through that portion of my journey, right? Another thing is drawing or coloring. Excuse me. Those things help me as well because it allows my brain to rest and reset. I'm gonna show you guys this cute thing I colored with my kids on Halloween, because y'all know I'm a nerd and I love Naruto. Anyways, coloring helps me draw. Listening to music helps me. It's something about, I don't have it in here. I had a brain diagram. I'm a nerd. I said it. It talks about the different sides of the brain and what they're good for or whatever. Not what they're good for, but how they function. But it helps you to stimulate a different part of the brain, which helps you to heal indirectly. Which is cool. One of the things I love is that music can help you heal indirectly. Frequencies, coloring, art, all of those things heal you in a different way. For me, it's dancing. My trauma was sexual, so it helps me move the trauma out of my body. So I've done a lot of mental work, but what about the body work, right? Because trauma lives in your body as well, right? So with starting your healing journey, I think knowing what some of your healthy coping skills are, because you're going to need to self-soothe. Because part of the issue is we're taught that we're supposed to get with someone, or our family or someone is supposed to help us be whole, or someone is supposed to make us whole, or somebody's supposed to heal us. That's not how it works. We have to do the work for ourselves. I'm not going to get with a dude and expect him to heal me. That's not how it works. I have to do the work for myself. You know what I mean? They can support you. They can support you, but you need to be able to emotionally regulate. You need to be able to self-soothe. So knowing what your healthy coping skills are. Because eating and sex are not healthy coping skills. Drinking is not a healthy coping skill. I'm not coming for y'all, okay? Because baby, I brought those up for a reason. They're not healthy coping skills. They actually can lead you to become addicted. But anyways, finding out at least three healthy coping skills. Humming is another one because it helps relax you. It stimulates your vagus nerve, which is your fight or flight nerve, which usually for me, like I lived in that state, so it helps relax you, singing and humming. So I tried to find ones that you can do anywhere. Listening to music you can usually do anywhere. Humming, now it's rare that people are just gonna hum around other people, but that's also part of the healing. Like, do what you need to do wherever you at, because baby, they ain't living in your body, they ain't living in your skin, they don't know what you're going through. And I've learned to embrace being looked at funny. If I want to hum, baby, I'm a hum, okay, honey? Because it's calming me down. I still get super overstimulated because I have PTSD, so I have earplugs that I use that it dulls the sound, but I will hum, I will listen to music, I will do what I need to do, I will, like, shimmy, all of that helps move that negative energy through your body. So I think starting your healing journey, the greatest thing you can do is remind yourself to have grace, remind yourself that it's a journey, and have at least 3 healthy coping skills to soothe you in those moments. Um, I think those are the best things you could do. It's the beginning of the journey, so you're gonna learn a lot along the way. But I love it. I've learned to love looking in the mirror. That's another reason why I feel like a lot of people don't heal, because they don't want to look in the mirror. They don't want to see what they did wrong or the role that they played in things. Um, and so I think that that's why a lot of people run away from it. Well, I'm fine the way I am. Okay, baby, you be fine the way you is. Okay, baby, because we leveling up over here. So I think that's why a lot of people. That's just my personal opinion. I will say it all day long, twice on Sunday. But I have embraced looking in the mirror. I've embraced and not like searching for flaws or judgment, like trying to judge myself or shame myself, but just like, what role did I play? Because baby, it really does take two. What role did I play in this? What role am I playing in my suffering? Is the thing. Because yes, some of you might be saying, oh, if I was abused or whatever, how did I play a role in that? It's not the role you're playing, you played in the abuse, it's the role you're playing in your healing. It's the role you're playing in moving forward. It's, are you victimizing yourself further? Are you, carrying that with you instead of letting it be something that happened to you? And how can we move forward? It's all of that, those things. But anyways, I think that's it for tonight, you guys. I am going to dive into my homework. And then I'm gonna watch Abbott because I got stuck on Abbott Elementary. And so it's calling me. But anyways, it's been great connecting with you guys tonight. This is the Carter Love Talk Show After Hours. On Monday, I will be being interviewed by Ja. And then Wednesday will be another episode. Lately on Wednesday for Beautifully Imbalanced, we've been talking about grieving. We did grieving your childhood dream, grieving who you thought you should be. We'll probably move into boundaries next week. I don't know. I have a list of stuff that we will talk about, but also, of course, y'all know if y'all ask me, I'm going to talk about it. So if you catch a clip of the Beautifully Imbalanced podcast and you have a question, ask it because I will answer it. I think that's it. And then we'll be back on Friday after that. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I think that is it. As always, remember that you are worthy always. You are worthy of being seen and heard by yourself. I think sometimes we forget to include ourselves in that, right? You are worthy of holding yourself in your fullness. You are worthy of seeing yourself. You're worthy of seeing your progress and celebrating your progress, celebrating your success, celebrating every win, celebrating your healing, even if you've only taken a couple of steps, baby. You are worthy of it. You are worthy of healing. Sometimes we feel like we've been through all these little things, and so much has happened to us that there's something wrong with us. Baby, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. You are worthy of healing. You are worthy of love. You are worthy of healthy connection. You are worthy of being celebrated. You are worthy of being supported. You are worthy of being seen. You're worthy of being held. Okay. You are worthy of going on this healing journey with me and me going on it with you. You are worthy of exiting survival mode and thriving and going after all the things that you want and desire. You are worthy of success. Your definition, right? Your definition of success, your definition of thriving, right? Because what's thriving to me may not be thriving to you, and that is perfectly fine, right? You are worthy of your own definitions, new definitions, unlearning those old ones that don't serve you anymore. You're worthy of healthy coping skills on this journey. And most importantly, you are worthy of unconditional self-care and unconditional self-love. I love you guys. I love you guys. All right, until next time, bye-bye.